Engineer Patrick Obath, who is the chair of KEPSA Foundation. Also, we have with us Dr. Shemo Chodho, who's the chair of Kenya Diaspora Alliance. Also, we're joined by Brian Weke, who is a political analyst, member of Linda Mwananchi. And also, we have with us Dr. Martin Olo, who is advocate of the High Court and assistant dean, School of Law, DStv University. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, Dibal.
Thank you for joining us. I really do appreciate. I know sometimes it's late into the night, and the fatigue of the day is breaking you, but it's a sacrifice that you have made to be here. So I really do appreciate. Right, we can just begin with the conversation with that story that is from Batsia's Wandai as it stands right now, and I'll begin with you, Patrick Obath, because this is also right up your alley as it stands. We know what really happened yesterday. There's diplomatic friction that we've seen, and people are asking questions regarding maybe protocol breaches when it comes to making such announcements as big as we saw it. That was last week when the president made the announcement that the Tanga refinery is on course, and we had the president of Tanzania raising reservations with these particular remarks, saying or quoting lack of prior consultation and also concerns about protocol adherence. Let's just begin from there. It's a good salutary effort that we should have a refinery, but following the proper channel is a different kettle of fish. Let's hear from you.
Thank you very much, Dibal. I think I may stick with the technical rather than diplomatic side. But I mean, I think when you talk about a refinery in this day and age, you do not talk about toys. You talk about something big. And the smallest commercial size of a refinery that needs to be done to compete with the ones in the Middle East, which is the competition that you'll have in terms of product, needs to be at least 500 to 600,000 barrels per day. So the Dangote size is the right one. Middle East refineries, the smallest one is about 350, 400,000 barrels a day. And those are old ones. So in order to make it worthwhile to have a 650,000 barrels a day refinery in East Africa, you need to have a market for the output of that size of refinery. But that size of refinery is not going to just produce diesel, kerosene, and premium. To make that worthwhile and investable in, you have to make it into what is called a fully complex refinery. And it is the additional items that it produces that will make it commercially viable. And those will lead to the production of textiles, pharmaceuticals, fertilizer, and so forth. And if you look at those are things that we are importing in Eastern Africa from other parts of the world. But that means that we need to guarantee access to the market of Eastern Africa, which is almost 300 million people. And that requires a political statement. In fact, the signing of a treaty at that point in time to make sure that the investor who invests in the refinery is able to operate as though it's operating in East Africa, rather than just sitting in Tanga. Hi there. And Tanga happens to be at the center of East Africa, if you look at it that way. But also, the basic supply to that refinery would probably be from Uganda, right? But Uganda will have to sell it commercially to that refinery. And as we talk about sending our product from Kenya to Tanga to refine it, that type of crude that is coming from Kenya is exactly the same as the one that is in Uganda. To make the refinery in Tanga commercially viable, it needs about 4 or 5 different types of crude oil. We can't just rely on our crude oil that we have here. So it needs light crude. It needs crude that has got other items. It needs some heavy crude as well, really heavy crude. And all that needs to be blended and then processed in Tanga. So that investment will not rely on oil from Eastern Africa only. It will require oil from Angola, from Nigeria, and from the Middle East as well. So when you talk about requiring the 3 East African countries to sign on for the refinery. It is more about signing on for the market. The countries cannot and cannot afford to invest in a refinery because the cost of a refinery of that size that is required is in the range of 30 to 35 billion US dollars that is required. The
but,
3 countries have got more priorities with that money than building a refinery.
But I thought we had